Hello! Welcome to part 2 of Caricature Drawing Fundamentals. In this lesson, we're going to start putting the principles of exaggeration into use and learn some different ways you can find out the caricature techniques that work best for you. First, it's important to know that there are probably a million different ways you can caricature a person and still get a great and funny likeness. There is never just one right way. A great caricature can appear highly realistic and three-dimensional, done with just a few simple lines, or even be more abstract. How you render it is entirely up to you, and I encourage you to experiment with different styles. My intention with these lessons is to give you the core principles, which you can apply to any style of drawing. But of course, I demonstrate drawing caricatures with an emphasis on realistic anatomy and rendering forms three-dimensionally, because that's the way that I prefer to work. How to begin thumbnail sketching. The big secret of good caricature drawing is that it doesn't take place over a single sketch. It's a process of development and experimentation over several stages. In my experience, I find that the best way to begin is to start by doodling small, loose, quick pencil sketches. What most artists would call thumbnail sketching, or concept sketching. I usually start pretty small so that I can move quickly from one concept sketch to another, not getting emotionally invested in any single drawing. Each new quick sketch that I do, I try to change the size relationships on the face. On one sketch, I might do a long, thin head shape. On another, I might try a shorter, triangular-shaped head. There are many people whose heads can be exaggerated in a wide variety of shapes. You won't know how many until you try. At this stage, the goal is to exaggerate as much as possible and not to repeat yourself. Variety and experimentation is key. You have to push it as far as you can in this stage so that you can figure out what works and what doesn't. A mantra that I repeat to myself over and over while drawing like this is, how far can I take it? Or how far can I push it and still maintain a likeness? The process. Here are the steps I usually follow when drawing caricature thumbnail sketches. I start with the big shape of the head, rather than with the facial features, since that's the method that aligns most closely with my core beliefs about drawing and caricature, which is, get the big idea down on the paper first, and work from the big shapes down to the smaller ones. Don't try to figure out the details before you have the overall structure figured out. The head shape will determine where everything else goes, and how exaggerated the final image will be. So the head shape needs to be bold and decisive. And don't worry about failing or making a bad drawing. If you're making a lot of bad caricature sketches at this stage, it means you're actually on the right path. It means you're experimenting and making bold decisions. Helpful hint number 1, squint. Since you're looking for the big shapes and the big relationships on the face that make your subject different from the average, it helps at this stage to squint your eyes at your photo reference to blur it out and make the details disappear. You should primarily be concerned with the biggest, most obvious shapes. When you can see only the big shapes in your subject, you'll see what is most important to your subject's likeness. Helpful hint number 2, go fast. The faster you sketch, and the more you do it, the more flexible your mind becomes. You'll find that your sketches are looser and less timid after you've warmed up a bit. A thumbnail sketch should take you between 2 and 3 minutes. Any longer and you get too involved in unnecessary details. And as I said earlier, don't worry if these sketches are poorly structured or are ugly and scratchy. Make exaggeration your number 1 priority, with likeness being a close second. Later on, you can work on the structure and refine the likeness. Think of your thumbnail sketches as your rough draft. You'll be able to fix any problems and refine it in the next stage. All you're after here is to figure out your basic concept. Helpful hint number 3, lots of reference material. It really helps to have several different photos of your subject from different angles, which you can lay out and view at the same time. Certain angles or different types of lighting will show a better likeness than others, and you'll get a better sense of the person's likeness in 3 dimensions. You can use multiple photos in one of 2 ways. You can either use one favorite photo to do all of your sketching from, while keeping the other photos in the back of your mind. Or you can do several sketches from all of the different photos you have. Although some illustration assignments will require that you show the subject's head looking in a particular direction, so you won't always have the luxury of choosing whichever head angle you want. After you've done several small thumbnail sketches, look them over for whichever one has the most potential for further development. It doesn't have to be the prettiest sketch, and it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to have a strong exaggeration and a good likeness. Helpful hint number 4, change up your tools. Another technique you can use to improve your sketching is to try a variety of materials. Instead of a pencil, maybe try a ballpoint pen. If you want to try sketching with block shapes and values rather than with lines, try a fat felt marker, a dipped ink brush, pastel, or charcoal. Switching the drawing tools often shakes you out of your comfortable tendencies and habits. If you use a different tool to sketch, you may just end up making choices you wouldn't otherwise have made with just a pencil. Happy accidents are an artist's friend. What's next? In the next lesson, I'll show how I use my thumbnail concept sketches to create a more fleshed out rough sketch, and strategies for improving the exaggeration in the process. Assignment. To practice what you learned in this lesson, gather several photos of a subject that interests you. When doing a Google image search, restrict your search to only large images. You'll get higher quality photos to work from. You can also specify if you want color, black and white, or even restrict your search results to photos of just the face. Then, fill a page or two of thumbnail sketches. Explore the shapes. Make exaggeration your top priority. Each time you do a new thumbnail sketch, try to design a completely different head shape. This is the stage where you can take big risks. Don't worry about failing or making every sketch great. Even if you get one successful thumbnail sketch out of 10, that is a great accomplishment. Giveaway! If you want a chance to win a giclée print of one of these caricatures, find the Proko fan page on Facebook and reshare the post for this video. I'll pick a random winner on December 22nd. In the premium section of this course on Proko.com, check out more videos where I draw thumbnail sketches of lots of different celebrity faces, explaining my process, and a video showing how I use a wide range of sketching materials on the same face to get a variety of results. For the shortest route to Caricature Town, these videos are the expressway. Get your ticket at Proko.com/caricature. For those of you who will be participating in the Caricature course, we've created a community where you can connect with other students, post artwork, and get feedback from your peers. Join the group at Proko.com/groups. If you enjoyed this video, share it and tell your friends. And if you want to get updates on new videos, go to Proko.com and subscribe to the newsletter. Secret. A little Morpheus action here. You pick the thumbnail on your right, or the thumbnail on your left.